Burmese authorities claim that Nagai was killed by a stray bullet, but these secretly filmed images clearly show how he gets shot at point-blank range by a soldier.
Journalists in Pakistan are regularly victims of murder, police violence and other forms of harassment. There have been a number of violent clashes between journalists and government forces in the past year. Following the assassination of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto in December 2007, criminal cases were brought against almost 80 journalists under the Anti-Terrorism and Anti-Riot Acts. All of them say that they were targeted for their reporting.
පාන්දර 2:02 කාලය අතර මම සිටින ස්ථානයේ යම් කිසි පුද්ගලෙක් පැමිණියා විකට් පොල්ලකුත් අතේ තියාගෙන ඇවිල්ලා මට කිව්වා කරුණාකර මේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට හිතයක් කරන්නේ නැහැ ඔයගොල්ලෝ වැඩ නැවත එළියට එන්න කියලා. ඒක මම යාගෙන් ඇවිල්ලා ඇහුවා ඇයි එහෙම කියන්නේ කියලා. ඒකට මම දැක්කා ඒකම පිටුවැත්තෙන් ඉන්න කළුවට මූණ ආවරණය කරගත්තු මිනිස්සෙක් T56කුත් අරගෙන ඉන්න මිනිස්සු ටික ඔක්කොම අපිව දන ගැස්සුවා එතන. දන ගැස්සලා දෙන්නෙක් තුනකට පොල්ලකින් පහර දුන්නා. කෑන්ඩි එක මිනිස්සු ගාරන් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා පෙට්‍රල් හරි ඩීසල් හරි ඒක ඔක්කොම මැෂින් රූම් එක පැත්තට ඔක්කොම මැෂින් වලට හලලා ඒ මිනිස්සු බෝම්බයක් වගේ සද්ද අපිට ආවනේ බෝම්බයක් තමයි ගහන්න ඇත්තේ ඊට පස්සේ ඉස්සර ඒක විශාල ගිනි ජාලාවක් ආවා ඊට පස්සේ මුළු මැෂින් එක ගිනි ගන්න ගත්තා නිවුස් ස්පින් රෝල් අර මේ
Guillaume Dasquier was detained for 2 days in December 2007 and pressured to reveal his sources for his article in Le Monde titled September 11, the French had long known.
Il m'est arrivé de travailler en Algérie, au Soudan, au Yémen, et à chaque fois je repartais de ces pays en me disant mon Dieu les journalistes qui font mon métier mais là-bas, putain quel courage, quelle paire de couilles, enfin pour et là et je me disais moi je le fais en France parce que je suis dans une démocratie. Donc on peut m'emmerder, on peut faire des pressions, je peux avoir des contrôles fiscaux, etc. Enfin des petits trucs mesquins. Mais on n'ira pas trop loin. Voilà. Là ça s'est effondré. Et après, bien sûr que j'ai balancé un nom. Et je me suis dit, voilà, j'arrête de faire ce métier comme ça.
The murder of prominent Armenian journalist Hrant Dink in January 2007 sent a shockwave through Turkish society. At the funeral, over 100,000 people marched in protest of the killing, shouting, "We are all Armenians" and "We are all Hrant Dink."
These clandestinely shot images show the trial of reporter Rafik Taghi and editor Sadagatoglu, who were sentenced respectively to 3 and 4 years imprisonment in May last year on charges of inciting racial hatred. Their crime was to write an article in which it was suggested that Azerbaijan's economic and political progress was being curtailed by Islamic radicals. Even Safronov was a well-known journalist and columnist who covered military affairs from the Kommersant daily paper. He died mysteriously as he fell from a staircase window on the 5th floor of his apartment building. He lived on the 3rd floor. Prosecutors immediately put forward suicide as the probable reason of Safronov's death, while his colleagues and friends remained very sceptical about this theory. At the time of his murder, Safronov was working on an article on Russian arms deliveries to the Middle East that could have caused a major scandal.
Но пока еще в Кыргызстане есть свобода слова, есть какие-то демократические ценности, поэтому, я думаю, нужно воспользоваться всеми этими возможностями и нужно максимум прилагать усилия, чтобы Кыргызстан не превратился в Узбекистан. Это в политическом смысле слова.
Eritrea is home to a despotic regime, which has banned all independent media in the country. In 2001, the authorities simply closed down all independent media outlets and arrested over a dozen journalists, of whom most are still in prison. Their families and lawyers are not allowed to visit them, and none of them has ever been charged with a crime, even after 7 years of imprisonment. Dawit Isaak, a journalist with dual Swedish citizenship, was briefly released in November 2005, only to be imprisoned again a few days later.
Ali Shemarke, the founder and co-owner of Horn Africa Media, was killed on his way home from the funeral of another journalist, Mahad Ahmed Elmi, who had been killed earlier the same day. Bashir Nur Gedi, the manager of the independent radio station Shabelle, was shot to death as he was returning home from a week of taking shelter at the radio station, together with other Radio Shabelle employees. Before the murder, both Gedi and his staff had been threatened, harassed and attacked, both by government forces and rebel insurgents.